Dustin Byfuglien and the Jets appear to be very close and mutually agreeing to terminate his contract. It's been a mess there, to say the least. Of course, they've kind of been, handcuffed when it comes to his cap hit because they didn't know what was going on exactly. They probably would have changed the course of their summer, of course, losing Tyler Myers, trading away Jacob Trouba. But now it looks like Byfuglien is on his way out of Winnipeg, and it's rough. It's going to be rough.
Well, Friedman reported on Headlines on Saturday that he hasn't even started skating yet this season. So from that, I'd assume that he's probably not going to be on a team by February 24th, which is, I believe, the deadline to play in the playoffs. And so I guess a couple questions from here. I'm assuming at this point, the fact that they've gone through this mutual termination kind of signals to me that he still wants to be in the league.
Yes.
I think he'd say screw it, sit on LTIR and then come back, but that really hasn't been the case. So I guess two things that come from that are, number one, what would a new contract look like? Are we looking at something like the Kevin Shattenkirk or the Kevin? So how much does Kevin Shattenkirk make?
I will look that up for you right now.
Is it something like the Kevin Shattenkirk or the Ilya Kovalchuk, who Kovalchuk signed for 1 year for the rest of the season at $700,000? I'm just gonna let me know what Shattenkirk makes. It's not coming me off the top of my head.
1.75.
1.75. You see something like that? I put 1 year contract for a couple million. It really depends on his conditioning and how he's skating, because he came off of surgery on a high ankle sprain. Now, I see certain teams, and we're going to get to the teams in a little bit, but I could see certain teams throwing him multi-year deals. I don't know if that makes sense. I think based on his age, depending on his skating, I think for now I think he might get something like the Joe Thornton or the Zdeno Chara treatment, where, you're just signing 1 year deals at this point. But what do you think if he comes back next season? It's July 1st, free agency. What does a Dustin Byfuglien contract look like?
I think you're exactly right. I don't imagine him. Well, first of all, it's going to depend on the market, and he's a big defenseman. Yeah, we don't know what his skating is like, but
right,
he is tough.
Yeah,
and he's an effective player who is tough. I mean, look up his highlights. He's one of the most fantastic defensemen in the league to watch. He'll manhandle half the guys on the ice without even trying. So, I mean, if there gets a real market, I don't see him getting more than probably 3. But I could, without a question, seeing a team giving him 2 years at 3. Or a team that maybe is definitely more competitive could look at maybe needing to get a right-handed defenseman, a fellow Canadian team. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised if the Toronto Maple Leafs take a look at Dustin Byfuglien.
That was one of the team. I had 4 potential teams, where I could potentially looking at bringing him in. Obviously, first one I'd give to Toronto. It's obvious they need a right-handed defenseman. It doesn't look like Tyson Barrie's coming back next year. You obviously have Justin Hall and whatever Timothy Liljegren is at the start of training camp next year. Pardon?
You're forgetting someone.
Who am I? Cody Ceci?
Yeah.
No, I'm not forgetting Cody Ceci. Get out of here.
I'm looking at the notes you have on the thing, and it's just Cody effing Ceci. So.
Yeah, I have lots to say about the Leafs. There's a list of teams. Obviously, we've talked about Vegas looking for a right-handed defenseman, a puck-moving defenseman, depending what you consider. Byfuglien, I think we had this conversation last night that, you can consider both, he can move the puck. He's also stay at home. He's a mix of both. Is that something the Golden Knights look at doing over the summer. Potentially another team that I thought was quite interesting, the Minnesota Wild. You know, he's from Minnesota, or he's from Minneapolis, somewhere. He's from around Minnesota, at least. Is that a team that looks at, you know, we're all talking about them trading Matt Dumba. If they trade Matt Dumba, I wouldn't even be surprised if Minnesota go after him. Even if they keep Matt Dumba, I wouldn't be surprised if they go after him, just because it's that hometown.
If I am the Minnesota Wild, I don't think it makes any sense, but at the same time, it's Minnesota, and because it doesn't make any sense.
No one said it had to make sense.
I really like Vegas because I heard somebody suggest, I think it may have been one of the fellows on Hockey Central, talking about what if Joe Thornton ended up in Vegas, and I'm like, Pete DeBoer is in Vegas? And then could you imagine if Vegas also got a divisional rival, or sorry, a rival team, because of course they played the Jets in the playoffs a few years ago when they went to the Stanley Cup final, that they take Byfuglien as well, and Vegas just becomes like even more of a big bad guy. And I mean,
it would look interesting.
And I mean, it's either, well, I think first they're going to look at Sammy Vatanen and see if maybe there's an extension to be worked out there. I think, like, say him or Carolina are going to get a bidding war with Vatanen, but I could see it. I don't know, because I think Vegas are a very physical team. You look at Ryan Reeves, you look at Will Carrier, those are the guys that are going to be leading you in hits. I mean, the entire league in hits. I think he fits in really well there. Even if he is a bit more of a quiet guy as Dustin Byfuglien, you know, everything you hear about is like he likes to just go fishing.
Well, Anthony Stewart says he is the type of guy that beats his own drum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So whatever he wants, that is what's going to happen. I had a crazy idea.
Okay. I like crazy. Chaos.
Crazy idea. Absolute chaos. One team that could look at bringing Dustin Byfuglien in. No idea this could happen. He happened to win a cup with them in 2010, I believe.
Are you crazy bastard?
The Chicago Blackhawks. And, you know, we had this discussion last episode, or a couple episodes ago, bringing the band back together. You know, they still have Corey Crawford. They brought back Andrew Shaw. They brought back Brandon Saad. They still got Kane and Taves. It just seems like destiny to bring Dustin Byfuglien back.
And they're going. Seabrook's going to be on LTIR, so that's what.
Seabrook's going to be on LTIR.
Years old. I think that makes a lot of sense, Alex. I like
6 by 6. 6 by 6.
I wouldn't be surprised. You know that's going to come up. So while the Leafs, the Golden Knights, and the Blackhawks are in on Dustin Byfuglien, we're going to hear at the end of June. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh boy. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be ultimate chaos.
It's really funny to look at the Blackhawks. I just don't understand. I still don't understand where they're going. I'm not convinced they're going to make the playoffs. I know Calgary has had a lot of stuff going wrong, but I don't see them falling out to the point where, you know, that wild card spot shows up for the Blackhawks, but Dustin Byfuglien, man.